I sit alone, try to understand the wrong thing.
Okay, I also see headlining your event is Luna L. She's a two-time Juno-nominated Canadian R&B artist.
Mm-hmm.
Could you tell us a little bit more about her?
Yeah, it's
Maybe I
so
should come out to see her.
definitely come out. And I think if you just, one, you know, the talent, her voice is very unique, is something that I've not heard coming from someone in a long time. It's reminiscent of like 50s or 60s, or maybe even before that, like jazz singer. It's very beautiful. And then mixed with this like modern type of R&B, I think that it's a real treat. Like it's something that you will remember for a lifetime, being able to see her. There's a reason that she's been nominated 2 times for Juno. She completely deserves it.
Exclusive interviews, global voices, real stories.
Looked into some of your work. I see that you wear many hats: creative director, producer, curator, community arts administrator, and also a performing artist. How do you personally describe the work you do and what drives you creatively?
That's a great question. One that I get often because I will be seen in so many different spaces, and
Yeah.
times I might be on stage, I'm the host, and then other times I am behind the camera and I am directing folks, or even sometimes I'm at the door and I'm taking tickets, even to the or I'm in the audience. And that's really where I started, is in the audience. And so because I've had all of those experiences, I think my term for myself is creative producer, because I just am here. I believe my purpose is to create and to express myself creatively and help others to do the same. So, creative producer, if
Yeah.
anyone's asking.
Okay. So you began with R.I.S.E back in 2012 as a participant in its grassroots days. What
Mhm.
first drew you into getting with the organization?
I would say truly, I had just, I finally went back to school to do the program that I wanted to do. I would say I got to do an arts program. This is when I was in college, and I had finished university. I kind of did what my parents wanted me to do, and I
Yeah.
got the government job and all that stuff, but I still felt very unhappy. And so I decided to go back to school and pay for it myself. I couldn't afford to continue like after the first year, and I was doing a creative arts program. And so that's when I first started like doing blogging and hosting and all these different things I wanted to do, but could not sustain it. And so people who I met through doing those during my 1 year at school in the creative arts, they knew that, I guess they saw something in me. I really thank them for seeing something in me beyond what my
Yeah.
circumstances were saying. And one day they saw me in the train station, and I was coming home from my government job, and I was really sad. I hated taking the TTC to work, and they just saw me there. They were doing this thing called Train of Thought, where they were artists that would go on the train and they would encourage people to smile and express themselves with like sticky notes, all these different activities they would do. And some of those people were the ones that I met, and they invited me to come out to this open mic. They're like, hey, you would love this. It happens every Monday. It's in Scarborough. And I lived like 2 seconds away from where it was happening. And I used to tutor kids at the like little community center that it was at. So I felt it was a safe place for me to go. And I went one day, and honestly, I never stopped going back. It was the best thing that ever happened to me. And I felt healed from not being able to finish school for the arts. And
Yeah.
now I'm so thankful that I didn't do all that. Saved money too.
So could you take us back to those early R.I.S.E nights? What were the vibes and the challenges around that time?
Early on, the first venue was at the Scarborough Town Center, which is a local mall, and it was also a hangout place for youth, to be honest. Like that is where we hung out. We didn't have a lot of places to go, and it wasn't though like a legal place for us to hang out. We would get in trouble all the time, get kicked out, but only if you had business to do, then you could stay and not be harassed by the security guards. So usually youth would go to the youth center that was there. And
Yeah.
as I said, I was tutoring kids there, like as part of like my volunteer hours and things like that. So I became attached to the space. And early on in that, it was like really like a very small room, like 500 square feet, maybe. We had like, first it was like 20 people were there, then it was like 30 people were there. Then it became like 100 people. We can't even keep everybody in the room. And we had
Yeah.
to, well, and I say we because now I'm really affiliated with the organization. But when I first started going, I was an audience member and I would go for the positive vibrations. Everybody was in a mind state of elevation and wanting to build with each other, share knowledge. And even if you were not performing, you still felt like you were seen. That was why
Yeah.
I went there. Yeah. So it was
Okay.
very homey space, home warming, heartwarming.
So you just spoke about being in the audience to being a person that's helping shape the programming. How was that evolution of being from that position to where you are now?
Yeah, I honestly, I feel I manifested it in a way.
Yeah.
I There were certain parts of like my dream that I had, like I really wanted to create a safe space for people to be able to do what I saw them doing at Rise. Maybe not performing arts because I thought maybe my calling had gone. I thought it was too late for me. So I was just thinking, hey, you know what? I really love what they're doing here and I would love to just support them in making it continue to go. And
Yeah.
my background was in social services. So it really felt aligned for me to help there as a volunteer. So anytime they needed help with like their bigger showcases, things like that, when I wasn't like an audience member, I would
Yeah.
help in the background. And I found it to be really fulfilling. And over the years, it turned into me wanting to have my own events and project management company. And so I started that. And within 6 months of me believing in myself, and I said, I'm starting my company. I have no like formal training in this, except that I know how to do it because I do it every day for the community. Like I'm always organizing events in the community. I'm like, I
That's
do
how
know
you
how to,
gain the experience.
right? So then I believed in myself and I just quit all the other jobs that I was doing. And I started writing grants because I was always a really great writer. And every now and then I would make it to the stage at Rise. Every now and then I would come out the
Yeah.
audience, but I just didn't think it was my thing. I eventually just I used poetry though all that time. I would be writing my own poetry and affirmations that I would get inspired by going to the shows. So
Yeah.
being an audience member was very valuable for me. And I'm glad that I was able to add value back by helping them organize things. And that inspired me to start my company. And then that company got hired about 6 months later by Rise. They
Okay.
heard about what we were doing and the founder, Randall J, he said, hey, we started doing little events, me and my co-founder, and they really loved what we were doing. And they invited us to come and be their project managers when they started to be a not-for-profit organization in 2019.
2019. So also seeing that you've mentioned that service is the cornerstone of your success. What does service mean to you in the context of arts, youth empowerment, and community placemaking?
That is a beautiful question. For me, it really means to be heart-centered. And when I am heart-centered and I think from my heart instead of just my head, which I think I'm a really logical person. That's why I'm able to put things together. I think
Yeah.
that's only half of the battle when it comes to or challenge when you are organizing, especially in the community, because grassroots level, community level, it's much different than when you're working with the government, which has this system that you're just like a wheel in the cog or a cog in the wheel, and you are just
Yeah.
meant to do what you're told. But here in the community, like it's a little bit more free, but then there's also these unknown and unwritten rules and code switching and trying to fit in, make things culturally relevant. So I think being heart centered helps me think holistically and think from being a human. Like, what would
Yeah.
I really want in a space? What's missing for me? And then I try to find those things, fill those gaps. And I usually find that starting there helps me to serve the community. And when I get to the community, if the things that I've thought of do not address their needs, then I'm willing to do needs assessments. Like, yes, I come with my bag of tricks or resources, but what do you need, community? And
Yeah.
that's what I'm there to do. Like, if I'm not there to do that, then I should leave. That's how I know where I should stay and build and grow.
Okay.
Mhm.
So Rise has reached over I've seen 7,000 intelligent souls, facilitated 4,000 paid opportunities, and invested 1.8 million directly into artists. From
Mhm.
your leadership perspective, what does this impact represent?
This represents transformation that is, I believe, going to trickle into some of the larger systems that inspired us to make this art anyways, because so much of the art that we are producing and helping others to produce, it comes from places of pain. So the idea that we are now the stewards of helping people transform pain into power,
Yeah,
I just see transformative growth. Like, I just see exponential growth. I see this us living up to the mission of our name, which is reaching intelligent souls everywhere, that we will be able to do that in other spaces and teach other people how to do that so that they could create this for themselves. And personally, like at the bottom of it, or maybe the top of it all, my number one goal, I always say to myself, is world peace. And I'm not
yeah,
saying that I can get everybody to be on the same page, but I heard this quote by Desmond Tutu that says everybody should do their own little part. And that's what I'm trying to do and inspire other people to do. Like, I'm just here to do my own little positive thing. And if that inspires you to be positive and then that inspires somebody else, then I think world peace is achievable. Like, logically, we could get
yeah.
there. Maybe not in my lifetime, but why not try?
No, as you said that there, I just thought of the Tupac quote when he said he might not be the change, but he might spark the mind that would cause the change.
And Tupac is
You-
like a big poet, somebody that, yeah, was able to transmute it into rap and, still
Yeah,
inspires because of his like, that's the power of the word also. I think that's
that's
something that
true.
we'll be able to pass on.
So you guys also put on a lot of events, almost, I see you almost put on like 800 events in total,
Yeah.
45 to 50 a year. How does RISE maintain consistency and creative excellence while centering mental health and self-expression?
I love your questions, by the way. I just have to
Thank
say. Love the questions. So I would say, again, because we come from this really heart-centered place, like even the way that we run our team meetings, a lot of folks will tell us, and I don't know if it will have to change, that we are very family oriented. The way that we operate is like a family, and we really care about the people that are doing the work for the other people. And we want the people who are receiving those benefits to care about the people who are doing the work. So I think we're doing a great job of demystifying the industry, giving people the backgrounder on how we're getting things done. You're doing a better job of storytelling that part, and I hope that in 2026, folks are gonna see that more. And in the behind the scenes, it's the way that we run our meetings. I think that that helps us to stay on course, and when we feel burnt out or we're getting to that level, we always check in at every meeting, no matter how busy we are, which is, as you can see, very busy. That means we're doing an event every single week, like, and we
Yeah,
have held ourselves to a certain standard now that, because we've learned so much, we can't just do the events like how we used to 13 years ago when we were just open, putting out chairs in the community center. We have elevated and we do that so that we can show our community that you can go from the grassroots to being a whole forest. So, I
yeah,
think that it's the way we run our meetings that really that trickles into everything else. Whenever we start to bypass those things because we have to get this done, this deadline, our humanity suffers, and I see that happens within our team, and of course, the community will suffer as a result.
yeah. I remember as I was telling you before the interview started, coming to one of your guys' events a few years ago, and we actually have it on one of our YouTube channels. And you said it was something that you just put chairs out, but to be honest, you guys were covering different parts of the city, and you had bigger venues than other venues, but you were hitting each community on both sides, the east and the west.
Hmm.
So is it important for you guys to try to reach the youth on both sides of the city?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. One of the things that really inspired the founder Randall to create Rise was traumatic experiences living in underserved neighborhoods. And that's where I think we can all connect. Doesn't matter if we're from the East or the West. We can all agree that we live in a neighborhood that's underserved. We could point out the places that could be improved. And when we're able to create these spaces across the city or in different regions that don't get to do these kind of things, I find that that connects people even more. And all the kind of territory talks that were when we didn't know each other and we didn't know that we were had things in common, those disappear and then we start building bigger things. I'm really proud to say that as a result, and maybe one day we'll have to do a numbers check on this one, but I'm really proud to say that because Rise was like the one and only all the way in Scarborough, people used to come from Jane and Finch, Brampton,
Yeah.
Mississauga, just to be there when it was every Monday. And when we expanded now into the not for profit, every Monday that had to kind of shift. We changed that so that we could do more. Like we have artist development programs now, residency programs, retreats. So we're trying to take the artists from the open mic into now the professional realm, like give them professional opportunities. That means we're not able to do as much and we do our open mics monthly. But now there are open mics like every day of the week and so many people when I love going to open mics, so I'm traveling around and just loving it because I get to be an audience member again. That's my happy place. So then
Yeah.
I just sit there and I wait and maybe I perform. And what I love to hear is some people, they'll be like, oh my God, like Elle's here and like Rise helped me. Like Rise was the one that inspired me to do this event. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm doing this. And that's how I'm making a living now. And I'm doing what I love now and I'm doing other positive things in the world. And to me, I'm like, "Oh, world peace, world peace."
Okay. So, what message do you have for youth that may not know about what you guys do, and why is it a safe space for them to come try to cultivate their talent or just get their message across and what they want to try to do?
Yeah. I believe that our organization has done something that a lot of other organizations have not been able to do. And that's really maintain a sense of integrity as we grow when it comes to being a community space, a heart centered space, being family oriented, and encouraging others to be that way. We've also gotten flack for being that way. People are like, "It's too positive." Like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
Guys, there's a lot of negativity in the world. We're just trying to have like a small piece for 1 hour, you know? That being said, I think that what I would love for youth to understand is that being positive it's going to be beneficial for your future and like to start thinking about your future self. Being able to go into spaces like schools and inspire youth as young as like 12 and 10 and stuff like that. And there's youth who have come to us now at 25 and said, you came in my school like 13 years ago. I remember you, like, or 10 years ago, like you came to my school. Maybe not me specifically, but the people at Rise. I want to shout
Yeah. Yeah.
who did that work before I got there. And that being said, that's what I really want for youth to know and to know how far you could go because I didn't say that story just for nothing. There was a youth, her name is Shahada Jack. She's currently the Toronto Youth Poet Laureate. That
Yeah.
position is a paid position. She gets to travel all over Toronto and Ontario and Canada now representing us here in Toronto, and she gets to just share her poetry. Like that's what she wanted to do. And she came to us when she was 12. Now she's 25 and that's her job. She's hiring an assistant now. So what I am noticing that's different for me when I was going to school, they didn't have people like this coming into schools when I was younger. The people that they had, they didn't look like me a lot of the time. And then by the time that the ones who maybe might have looked like me, I was already so jaded that,
Yeah.
I ended up getting into a lot of negativity as a young person, like
Yeah.
gangs, vandalizing things, just being idle and, hanging out at the mall. And then finally the mall had this community center. And I was like, okay, I have to do my volunteer hours anyway. Let me go do it. And then I actually fell in love with being there. And that's really how I'm sitting here today, to be very honest. So it's
Yeah.
so important for these spaces to exist. If anybody loves what I'm doing, like, please know I wouldn't be doing this. I would be doing really bad things, I think, like if I didn't find these spaces.
Yeah. It's funny because the next question I was going to ask you was what gaps in the arts ecosystem helps with R.I.S.E, with other organizations overlook with youth? But you kind of answered that, saying fills the gap from idleness.
Yes.
Yeah,
That boredom, parents get that when our kids say that they're bored, but they truly are bored. I was thinking like how slow my childhood used to feel some days and how quick adulthood, like I cannot believe we're in December right now. Like, how are we here right now? So that leads me to believe that there is a lot of time that youth are not doing things with their time. And then there's lots of adults who grow up with not knowing how to fill their time with something worthwhile. And then, it leads them to many different roads that don't really help them to produce like positively in society. And that's why I love creativity as being a vehicle. Like, even if you don't want to be a performing artist, me practicing my poetry all those years led me to becoming a better writer. And that becoming a better writer helped me to start writing grants. I started getting grants. Then I started being able to help other people do that. And that led me to have a whole business on the side where I'm able to now just like talk about what creative project you wanna do and how to get the money or the resources to do it.
yeah.
That is a great job. And I hope that I can continue to do that for life and show other people how to do it too.
So how do you balance administrative leadership with artistic innovations so that both structure and the spirit of R.I.S.E stay strong?
That one is everyday challenge, I would say. For me, I think what really helps me is I keep my why in mind. And this was something I think that really came into the forefront for me based on our founder, Randell. He would always ask people, what's your why? Even when before you go and perform, like you're here at the open mic, but what's your why? Why do you want to do this? And so when I have formulated this why for myself, that when I serve the community serves me. And
Yeah,
so I must serve the community first before serving myself. And that's how I keep things in balance. That even though there's sometimes I really want to do a certain opportunity that might take me away from my work. Actually, I got one this summer. I got this really great opportunity to be on stage, like, and work with like the mentor of my dreams. And I turned that down because if I did that, I would be away from my work for about 3, 4 months. Like, there's no way I could have done both. Like, so
got
in
it.
those times, I was like, this will come back around again if it's for me. I know that the only reason I'm even able to say yes to this opportunity or no is because of R.I.S.E. So
Yeah,
because of the work I do in the community. So that made it easier, but it was hard. It was hard.
yeah. So many people credit you with inspiring them to volunteer. Why is volunteerism so important to sustaining grassroots arts movement?
I think it's the cornerstone of what we do because with or
Yeah,
without funding, without dollars in our hands, our energy is our currency. And so if we have a lot of people giving their time and energy, even just a little bit from a lot of people could turn
yeah,
into the events that you've seen over the years. So many of those events, as I said, I started out as a volunteer, so I saw how important it was for me to be there, sitting at the table just with the t-shirts. Like, that was important because it helped to set the stage for what they were presenting. And it really helped for other people to start taking what R.I.S.E was doing seriously. And when they saw that, oh, they have a vendor table and they have tablecloths, like, because we had
yeah,
volunteers who could help us with that. We had green rooms set up. I even learned like what a green room was because I was a volunteer there. So I encourage people to volunteer because a lot of us are wondering, how do I get to that spot? And now I hear that question a lot. And I
yeah,
always think to myself, I'm like, oh, you got to volunteer. I'm like, I promise you that the only way I got here was because I just decided that I would serve. Like, at the time, I didn't have all of this in mind. So that's why I know that what really attracted me was just being able to sit in the audience, see the performers, and then be a part of that magic and like seeing other people be so happy and engaged. That really started to like impact me. And
yeah,
as I said, I wasn't a kid that was like like you couldn't impress me with a lot of things. Like, come and say your speech, person. What do you have to say? But the art really got me. I was like, oh my goodness, like this just like broke my whole heart and also put it back together at the same time.
yeah.
5 minutes.
Okay. So I know you guys have a big event coming up soon, December 3rd.
Yes, we do. On
Yeah,
December 13th, we every year at the end of all of those beautiful open mics that used to happen every week, the final open mic that would be happening before the holidays. And the holidays usually would happen in December, and also Rise would decide that we would be like from December to about February, we would like that would be our break. So when people say like, how do you do that? That's when we would take that time like the middle of December to the middle of like January to actually break and then come back refreshed and nude. And on December 13th, we will be having our final Rise event of the year. Now it's like a big production or a bigger production, and it celebrates everything we've been doing in 2025. We will be having amazing acts, also from our, not only acts from our community, like artists that we've been working with throughout the years that
yeah.
we've seen been doing well. Sometimes artists we haven't worked with yet that we keep our eyes out for these emerging talents. And also, we'll be celebrating the graduation of a few of our artists from our artist development program who, because of their work that they've done, they've demonstrated a certain level of excellence, and they've
Yeah.
now been gifted an opportunity, a paid opportunity now to perform in front of a large audience. And this is one of our biggest shows of the year. So a coveted spot for sure.
So I know the event is also a fundraiser as well.
Yes, we are raising funds. So you heard all the amazing work that we are doing. And I didn't even say all the work that we're doing. So, definitely check out all of our socials and website to see, or come talk to me. I'm very friendly. I know they call me DeLion, but I'm very, very friendly. And so we want to raise from this event. We're hoping to get $10,000, and that will go directly into be able to provide artists with opportunities. Those numbers are real, the amounts that we've been able to give out. And we want to be able to continue doing that, like giving micro grants to artists so that they can actualize their dreams into reality.
So Rise is also aligning with Giving Tuesday campaign.
Yeah, so just this past Tuesday, we
Yeah,
launched our campaign, and what we're hoping to inspire people to do is you can give to Rise throughout the year, but we really want to highlight right now in December that if you're looking to gift someone with something that you can gift someone, you will know that your money is going directly into like the people like me who make this engine go. And then, of course,
yeah.
the community of artists, all the volunteers and the people we're training. I'm really proud to say that we're not only training people to be on stage, but people behind the stage to do this kind of production work, this direction work. We started out with maybe 4 of us on the team on the not for profit, and then we've grown now to about 10 of us who that are on salary, have benefits, things like that. Like, so we're really making that push to ensure that our people that we're working with can stay healthy and continue to do this work, and making more places for people to do this work. So every dollar that someone puts towards this will really help to keep that going.
Okay, I also see headlining your event is Luna L. She's a two-time Juno nominated Canadian R&B artist.
Hmm.
Could you tell us a little bit more about her?
Yeah, it's
Maybe I
so
should come out to see her.
definitely come out and I think if you just the talent, her voice is
Yeah,
very unique, is something that I've not heard coming from someone in a long time. It's reminiscent of like 50s or 60s, or maybe even before that, like jazz singer. It's very beautiful, and then mixed with this like modern type of R&B, I think
yeah.
that it's a real treat. Like, it's something that you will remember for a lifetime, being able to see her. There's a reason that she's been nominated 2 times for Juno. She completely deserves it. And I would say full circle moment for me. I work behind the scenes. I do creative production work, and one of the freelance jobs that I had was maybe about 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe 4 years ago, I was her creative production assistant in helping her to
Yeah.
do one of her first music videos. So to now see from there to where she is now, I am so proud that we finally got her on our stage. So everyone needs to come out and see this girl. She's going places. This might be her last Toronto show. That's what I'm saying. Like, next year,
Yeah.
she might not be here.
So what advice do you have for young creators who might be attending the event for the first time and dreaming of following a similar path?
Yes, if you're dreaming of following that path, I want you to know that there is a place for you to do that at R.I.S E. Our methodology in edutainment is to entertain people and then inspire them to get educated. So when they come and they see that stage show, just as you said, Kevin, then they will be like, how do I do that? And then don't worry, because you come out to our open mics. The open
Yeah.
mics are one of the places that we get to see who the emerging talent is. From directly from the open mic, we have booked people for paid opportunities. And usually at our open mic as well, we have a featured spot, maybe two, where we pay someone to have a longer set. And those are intentionally picked from our community, the features, so that we can inspire people for them to know that this could be you. And so that's one way. And then, as I mentioned, we have a residency program as well as an artist development program that's for the performing arts. And
Yeah.
usually we recruit artists through these. Sometimes we do like a competitive style where we will really get people to sharpen their skills. Again, it's intentional. We want people to really sharpen their skills, come out, show us their best talent. We have like judges and all these kinds of things, and involve the community in the voting. And that's also that we can inspire all of us to create this infrastructure, because yes, performing artists, we need you. We also need audience members.
Yeah.
We need audience members. So I want to inspire more people to understand also my story, that sitting in the audience is a big role. You are pivotal to a showcase being successful. Your energy in the crowd feeds back into the artist and vice versa. So I'm
Yeah.
looking to just help people to understand, young people to understand, that anywhere within our space, like, you can have a role there. You could be a vendor, you could be a volunteer, you could be the person who puts up chairs, but it will all lead to this beautiful production that we all get to say that we did this.
Yeah. So how do you describe Rise in 3 words?
Okay, 3 words. You know, we're a words literature based organization. This is very tough.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 words. I'm going to say empowering, resilient, and legacy building with a hyphen. Can we do
Could
that?
be one
Or
word.
legacy.
So what could people look forward to in the future for next year, 2026, from the organization?
In 2026, we're going to be maintaining the schedule and sustaining. So you can expect every single thing that we did this year, except even on a more improved scale. Every year we work to take what we've learned from the prior events and implement them into the event. So I really hope that that's what people are able to feel when they come out, and more opportunities for artists to get paid to be on stage, and people to get paid and an education training behind the scenes. We also open our doors, and we're very open to doing trainings with organizations that are, if you're paying the youth to come out, like, we've actually been able to staff our organization through those type of collaborations. So we're looking to do more partnerships. We are often now hired to be like the curators of different like galas and programs opportunities.
Okay. So the best of luck with your event on the 13th.
Thank you.
And where could people get tickets for it?
Yes, so you can get tickets from our website, www.riseedutainment.com. And then that will take you to our Eventbrite. And when you buy that ticket, they are $30. That $30 will get you food. And the food is not just like sandwiches. No, we do not do that. We will be having cultural dishes. Our organization is very much ingrained and promotes artists, especially from the African and Caribbean communities. So that's the food that will be inspired. But all are welcome. Please know that we are very inclusive. But we just like to really put a highlight on those who have been underserved. And so that's why we exist. And when you come out, remember that $30 goes towards the artists that are on stage, the people making it happen. You get your belly full, and we're giving away prizes too. Lots and lots of prizes all night long.
Thanks for watching Worldwide Entertainment TV. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out more videos right here on the channel. We've got a lot more coming your way.